Hi, I'm Steelfur of Steelfur Speaks, and this is a new player hero guide going through every single hero in the game of Flesh and Blood in one big playlist, giving them all 10-15 minutes of talk and basically rating them from a new player gameplay experience and saying, should you as a new player get into that hero? It's important just to say at the start, this is not a meta review, so we're not looking at meta decks or anything like that. If you want to know how the hero is doing right now when you're watching this video, you need to go to tournament reports in the Discord and find that out. These very much are timeless videos, just showing new players the gameplay and the play patterns of each new hero, really so they have a jumping off point to help them look at the 30 plus heroes in the game of Flesh and Blood and decide which one they're going to buy into and which one they're going to play. Because there's so much choice now that it's really starting to become a big choice to try and think, well, which hero am I going to pick up? And you may not be able to buy all the cards. So this really is your option to just have a look, whack on the playlist, and by the end of it, you're going to be like, this hero appeals to me aesthetically, this hero appeals to me playstyle-wise, maybe I'll get into this hero. Steelfur says it's easy to get into. There's a playlist, it's linked in below, just have a look through it if you want to see other heroes. It starts chronologically newest to oldest. Sit down and go through it. Some of the videos are older, but they're all still relevant because of the way they've been designed, just talking about playstyles. Right, let's dive in then. Aurora Shooting Star is a Lighting Runeblade Hero from the Rosetta set released in September 2004. In Vault Haven, they say, I'm quick to bolt, haha, hard to trace. It's true, I'm lightning fast and full of spark. But foremost, my parents named me Aurora Shooting Star. I don't know if anyone's parents are named them Aurora Shooting Star. This is my kid, David, of the wilderness. Because my shocking good looks and my innate brilliance. But seriously, life is a wild ride that I'm determined to enjoy to the fullest. I know what it's like to be held back by naysayers, and that's why I savor every thrill, every adventure. For anyone who sees only the hurdles, I'll show them how to zap their worries on the free fall. If they're brave enough to take the leap. No one snapped me back from adversity like I have. That's what sets me apart from the more celebrated wayfarers around here. Where they shoot high, I vault for the sky. Hilariously, that's a bit of a dig at one of the other famous wayfarers, Lexi, who has retired to Living Legend in Flesh and Blood. We won't get into Living Legend here, but look it up if you're interested. It's how they rotate heroes. Now, anyway, diving into Aurora. So she is an elemental runeblade hero with the essence of lightning. What does that mean for new players? Elemental is a talent. Runeblade is a class, so you'd have runeblades, and then you have different talents like Shadow, Mystic, etc. She can play elemental runeblade cards, elemental cards, and runeblade cards, but you can't play other talented runeblade cards like Shadow, Runeblade, etc. She also has Essence of Lightning, which means she can include lightning cards in her deck. All elemental heroes have an essence that just determines what other cards they can play. Lightning typically is fast, go again, and just attack. That's what lightning means. And that's reflected in her hero ability. Once per turn instant, to create an embodiment of lightning token. Activate this only if you played a lightning card this turn. I'll show you embodiment of lightning in a second, but basically it gives go again to your next attack action when you play it and then gets destroyed. Starfall is her weapon. For one resource, if you've played a lightning card this turn, this card's attacks gets +1 and go again. So you can already start to see what's happening with Aurora. She is getting embodiment of lightning tokens to have long turns. She's using her weapon for 2 and go again after playing lightning cards. She's getting go again. She's attacking a lot. She's going hard. She's going in. Hit the high notes, 1 for 4. This is just Runeblade synergy. So Runeblades are getting played off, creating auras. So she might create a lightning token and then play hit the high notes to come in for an extra +2. 1 for 6, really powerful. Really good way to end the chain if it doesn't have go again. Then we have her specialization, Arc Lightning. Whenever you gain go again this turn, deal 1 arcane damage to any target. The next action card you play this turn gains go again. So this will automatically trigger 1 arcane from itself getting go again, and then every time you get go again this turn, you will deal 1 arcane. So even if you attack with the weapon, you use embodiment of lightning, you use something that gets go again for another reason. Really powerful specialization, but shows you really what the hero is about, which is I'm going to either play all of my hand, or I'm going to play 3 cards from my hand, arsenal 1 card to set up a 5-card turn, and then next turn I'm going to do a 5-card turn and try and do as much damage as possible. But I should say it's not just damage with her. She does have some disruptive effects mixed in as well. So it's not just going to be go fast. there are some very interesting abilities beyond just straight attacking. So whereas a class like Ninja will primarily just do long combat chains with often fairly basic or vanilla attacks, Runeblade tends to be, I'm going to go wide, but they're going to have a little bit more spice. There's a few more instants, there's a few more non-attack actions, there's a little bit more variety in how they get to the long turn and what they do when they get there, as well as the addition of arcane damage, which is just direct damage that needs to be blocked in a different way with like arcane barrier, rather than being blocked from your hand like a normal attack. So let's talk about tokens for a second. So Embodiment of Lightning is a lightning token that lightning heroes often make. When you play an attack action card, destroy this, it gets go again. It doesn't get destroyed at any point until you play an attack action card. So a play pattern with Aurora, for example, is to block a bit, play a lightning card, make an Embodiment of Lightning, pass your turn and arsenal, and the next turn you've got Embodiment of Lightning, you've got a 5-card hand, you can potentially do 4 attacks or 4 or 5 attacks, or 3 attacks and 2 very good non-attack actions, etc., etc. She also makes Rune Chants, which is a Runeblade specific thing, but just says when you play an attack action or activate a weapon attack, destroy this, deal 1 arcane damage to target opposing hero. The third thing on here is the Meld cards. Meld is a new ability in Rosetta. It basically is 2 cards in one, and you pay the cost in the top right for each card. So this card costs 0, so it will cost you 0 to play both sides. If it costs 1 to play both, would cost you 2 in total. You get how that works. You play this card and you resolve the right side first because it's an instant. To play this card in total, you need to be able to play it in the window. So you need to have an attack, you need to have an action point on your turn to play the left side. During your opponent's turn, you can only play the right side, for example, because you can't play the left side, which is an action, when you only have priority and not an action point. So on your turn, you can play both sides. Your opponent's turn, you can't. And you can kind of see there are effects like this. The next time an attack you control hits this turn, deal 4 arcane damage. So you play a card like this, then you attack 3 times for 4, and your opponent either throws their entire hand to block you, or 1 point of damage gets through, and then they take 4 arcane on top of however much you hit them for already. So she is very much gotta go fast, very aggressive, but how does she do mechanically? I think for new players, Aurora is a 5-star mechanical hero. She focuses on go again, she's got a little bit of arcane damage that complicates things, but it's good to understand a level of arcane damage in the game. She has a little bit of aura management, which might make her a little bit tricky, but I feel like it's fairly straightforward compared to other heroes who have more complicated auras, like Prism and Acilio. Really, it's just, do I want this Embodiment of Lightning? Am I making a rune chant? There's a little bit of aura management mixed in, which helps you learn a bit about that in the game without overloading you too much. She's also an aggro hero. She has a very clear objective, which is to smack face, and she has some good combos to play as well, which you'll learn and get set up in, but I don't think are too overwhelming. I will say that there are a few cards that are a little complicated, but in my view, those cards are not the norm. Most of her cards are like, if it hits, do X, if it does this, do Y. And I think those 1 or 2 cards are perfectly easy to understand once you've looked at them a few times, so they don't really affect her mechanics score. Accessibility is where they start to affect, though, because I think that those cards do bring in a bit of sequency difficulty, which reduces her overall accessibility score. You have to play things in the right order. You have to set up cards to use them on the right turn, put the right card in arsenal to play it to get the best turn next turn. So I think she has a bit of difficulty sequencing that players are going to take a while to get, that reduces her accessibility score. Also, how you use Embodiment of Lightning will be a massive change to how much damage you deal. So I think that warrants losing a few points as well for the aura management. I do think it will be straightforward to learn how to do it, but I do think there is a bit of, there will be a bit of confusion as well, so it's not entirely guaranteed you'll get it easily. I also think she does come with deck building challenges, like all Runeblades do. How many attacks am I including? How many non-attacks am I including? How much go again am I including? I think all of these things are a bit more of a challenge. And also I think there's a bit of a challenge in terms of how resilient she will be to disruption, and how you build both the defensive and an offensive suite in the same deck to give yourself the tools to survive against more complicated heroes. So I think there is a bit of deck building challenge there that does reduce her score. Depth, then, I think she's got 4 stars because while she's mostly, I think, an straightforward aggro deck, I think she has some interesting and complex tools. And I think the optimization is highly rewarded with huge and crazy turns, and that complex turns are available. So while an aggro deck like, say, 5, for example, might get punished for being a straightforward aggro deck, I actually think she gets rewarded for being straightforward on the surface, and then once you take a step down, we actually start to unlock this really complicated hero that has a lot of interesting turns. So I think much like Florian, I would rate Aurora Shooting Stars to be quite good for new players. I think there are going to be some challenging cards in there, so maybe Florian is a bit easier if you have no background in TCGs, and you should look at my video on him. But I think if you're perfectly prepared to take on a challenge, you want to experience everything the game has to offer, and you want to be rewarded for sequencing and thinking things through and building your deck just right, I think Aurora is going to be a really fun experience. So I think I rate her 4 stars. I think she's a really good hero to get in the Rosetta set in Flesh and Blood. I also rate pretty highly. I get 6 stars from all these new heroes, and that's because I think you should like and subscribe to my channel. I've been making fab content for about 5 years, and the modus operandi of my channel is very much from the player's perspective, and that means that I'm not afraid to question, is that judge decision correct? Have they balanced this properly? Did they ban the right card? Is this overpriced? Like, is the market just rejecting this set? Is this set not good? Like, I'm not afraid to ask these questions. If I think a draft set is bad, I'm going to say it, because my goal here is to help players understand whether they're having a good time and understand what the game can do to either help them do better, or whether it's time to take a break and step away. I've been making fab content for 5 years. I have taken breaks from making fab content. I have taken breaks from the game. I come back again and again because I love the game. I make my episodes every week because I love the game, but I try and do it eyes wide open. I don't think in the age of 2024, when we have so many great games kicking around, there's really an excuse for not being an active and aware and engaged consumer, and that's what I'm here to help you guys do. So if you're listening to if you're reading something in Flesh and Blood and you think, hey, that's overpriced, and you come and listen to my podcast and we talk about why, that's what I want to do. So like and subscribe if you like this video. If you want more content like this, there is a whole playlist dedicated to these guides. I'm always thinking about updating them, but because of the way I write them, the old ones are still just as good. So just crack that on, have a listen, and within a few of them, you'll probably have found a hero you want to play, and then welcome to the world of Flesh and Blood. It's fantastic.